Hello, I am Dr. Norma Jones, and this is Chapter 5, Research Supporting Materials and Reasoning, Learning Objectives. By the end of this chapter, you will be able to identify types of supporting material, locate credible sources, evaluate source credibility, relevance, and bias, identify reasoning methods, recognize logical fallacies, and integrate citations and references ethically in speeches. Introduction. When you stand in front of an audience, your ideas carry more weight if they are supported by good research and clear reasoning. In other words, your audience will recognize that you are a credible speaker. Research gives your speech substance, while reasoning shows your audience how your ideas fit together. Without researched evidence, a speech can feel shallow. Without reasoning, even strong facts may seem disconnected. Together, research and reasoning form the foundation of effective public speaking. Remember that our informative and persuasive speeches require 3 credible and appropriate sources each. In this chapter, we will explore how to find, evaluate, and use research, integrate supporting materials such as examples, statistics, and testimony, and apply reasoning strategies to strengthen your arguments. We will also look at common logical fallacies, errors in reasoning that can weaken your message, and how to avoid them. Mastering these skills can help make you a more trustworthy, confident, and ethical speaker. Types of supporting material. Before beginning research, it is important to understand the types of material you will want to include in your speech. Supporting material makes ideas real, clear, and convincing. Effective speakers often combine several types in one presentation to connect with both the head and the heart of their listeners. Statistics. Numbers provide factual weight. For example, citing Pew Research data on civic engagement can demonstrate the importance of community involvement. When using statistics, always explain what they mean and avoid overwhelming audiences with too many numbers. In informative speeches, statistics can clarify trends or explain concepts, while in persuasive speeches, they provide evidence to strengthen arguments and motivate action. Examples. These make ideas relatable. A brief example might highlight one student's success with a study habit, while an extended case study could show broader patterns. Hypothetical examples can also be useful to illustrate possibilities. In informative speeches, examples help make complex topics easier to understand. In persuasive speeches, examples personalize issues and create empathy with the audience. Testimony. Expert voices bring authority. A scientist's statement about climate change or a peer's story about overcoming stage fright both add credibility. In informative speeches, testimony presents facts and insights from knowledgeable sources. In persuasive speeches, testimony strengthens appeals to ethos by showing that experts and peers support your position. Definitions. Clarifying terms ensures everyone shares the same understanding. For example, defining digital literacy before discussing technology. Use in classrooms avoids confusion. Operational and contextual definitions may be especially helpful. In informative speeches, definitions ensure accuracy and clarity. In persuasive speeches, definitions can frame an issue in ways that align with your argument. Narratives. Stories capture attention and make abstract ideas memorable. Sharing the journey of a local volunteer can inspire audiences to take action. Narratives can be personal, historical, or drawn from current events. In informative speeches, narratives can illustrate processes or historical events. In persuasive speeches, they evoke emotion and inspire change. Visuals, images, charts, or AI-generated graphics can reinforce your message when used ethically and with proper attribution. Visuals should be simple, clear, and directly tied to your key points. In informative speeches, visuals clarify and illustrate facts. In persuasive speeches, visuals can be used to stir emotions and highlight the urgency of your message. We may not be using visuals for this class. Understanding these categories will help you know what to look for when you begin gathering sources and will remind you to use a mix of materials to strengthen your speech. For example, A student delivering an informative speech about campus wellness might combine statistics on student health, a definition of mental health, and a brief expert testimony in a published interview from a nationally recognized source. Another student giving a persuasive speech about increasing recycling could weave together a narrative about a local family's efforts and statistics on waste reduction. Using 2 or 3 types in combination creates variety, appeals to both logic and emotion, and keeps the audience engaged without the need for visual aids. Remember, some narratives and examples may not be from an appropriate resource, so they will not count towards the minimum of 3. Locating credible sources. Strong research begins with knowing where to look. Speakers today have access to both traditional and modern tools that make information more available than ever. AVC Library. The Antelope Valley College Library offers students access to academic databases, ebooks, and peer-reviewed journals. They also provide a wide range of services, including individualized help from librarians. To learn more, review my introduction video. Completing the library's self-paced tutorials will help you learn how to navigate these resources and strengthen your ability to find high-quality sources. Google Scholar, this search engine specializes in scholarly materials. It allows you to find peer-reviewed articles, track citations, and access research by specific authors. Filtering results by date ensures your information is current. Unlike the AVC Library, which provides full access to subscribed databases and personalized librarian support, Google Scholar may link to articles behind paywalls and does not offer individualized assistance. To learn how to use it effectively, be sure to watch my video introduction to Google Scholar in our Canvas course. Wikipedia. While not a reliable source to cite directly, Wikipedia can be a useful starting point. Because anyone can edit its pages, information may change quickly and not always be accurate. Many articles include references and external links to scholarly work, which you can use to locate credible sources for your speeches. To understand how to use it ethically, watch my short video about Wikipedia on our Canvas course page. AI tools, generative AI tools such as ChatGPT can help brainstorm ideas, organize, and clarify research questions. However, AI is not a substitute for academic sources. It can assist with planning, but should never be cited in your speeches. Always verify information with reliable sources. Do not cite AI tools directly. Instead, use them to locate links to original sources, allowing you to judge their credibility yourself. Check Canvas or my YouTube channel for AI usage videos. Each research tool has benefits and limitations. The AVC Library provides access to high-quality databases and personal help from librarians. Google Scholar is a quick way to find scholarly materials, though it may lead to paywalls. Wikipedia is useful for background and links, but should never be cited directly. AI tools can help you brainstorm and organize, but should only guide you toward original sources. Remember that both informative and persuasive speeches require credible and appropriate sources, so always evaluate carefully and select the best evidence for your purpose. Evaluating sources. Not all information is equally trustworthy. In an age of misinformation, it is important to evaluate the credibility of what you find. One practical tool is the CRAAP test, which measures information against 5 criteria. Currency. Is the source up to date? For example, a 2023 government health report is more reliable for current statistics than a study from 1995. In informative speeches, currency ensures audiences receive the most recent facts. In persuasive speeches, current data shows that your position is grounded in today's reality. At the same time, you may need a source that shows history, so an older source will be useful. Relevance. Does it directly support your topic and audience needs? For instance, if you are speaking on student success, a study about college retention is more relevant than a general article on workplace performance. In informative speeches, relevance keeps your content focused and clear. In persuasive speeches, it helps target evidence that connects directly to your call for action. Authority. Who is the author or publisher, and are they qualified? An article written by a professor or expert in the field carries more weight than a social media post by a non-expert. In informative speeches, authority builds trust in the accuracy of your information. In persuasive speeches, citing authoritative voices strengthens your credibility and appeals to ethos. Accuracy. Is the evidence supported with facts and references? A peer-reviewed article that cites multiple studies is more accurate than a blog without citations. In informative speeches, accuracy ensures your audience learns correct information. In persuasive speeches, it helps you avoid weak claims that could be challenged by skeptical listeners. Purpose. Was the information created to inform, persuade, sell, or entertain? A nonprofit research center may aim to inform, while a commercial website may be trying to sell a product. In informative speeches, purpose matters because you want to teach rather than mislead. In persuasive speeches, knowing the purpose allows you to anticipate bias and address counter-arguments. For example, a recent government health report would likely score high in all categories, while a personal blog with no citations would not. A news article from a reputable outlet may score high on currency and relevance, but requires you to check the author's expertise to judge authority. Evaluating sources ensures your speeches are not only informative, but also credible. In informative speeches, applying the CRAAP test helps you provide accurate facts and definitions that your audience can trust. In persuasive speeches, it ensures your evidence is strong enough to support your call to action and prevents you from relying on weak or biased information. Reasoning methods. Evidence alone is not enough. You also need reasoning to show how your ideas connect. 4 key reasoning methods are common in public speaking. Inductive reasoning, moving from specific examples to a general conclusion. For instance, if several universities report higher retention rates from mentorship programs, you may conclude that mentorship generally improves student success. In informative speeches, inductive reasoning can be used to show trends across different studies. In persuasive speeches, it can build a case by piling up multiple supporting examples to encourage agreement. Deductive reasoning, applying a general principle to a specific case. If all effective speakers cite their sources and you want to be effective, then you should cite yours. In informative speeches, deduction helps explain how general theories apply to a particular case. In persuasive speeches, deduction can drive home why a specific action follows from a widely accepted principle. Causal reasoning, explaining cause and effect. A speech may argue that distracted driving increases accidents, supported by police data and safety studies. In informative speeches, causal reasoning can clarify how events are connected. In persuasive speeches, causal reasoning shows why one action will likely lead to a desired or undesired outcome. Remember, just because there is a relationship or correlation between something, that cannot imply cause. Analogical reasoning, making comparisons to explain ideas. For example, a speaker might compare learning a new language to exercising a muscle. The more practice, the stronger the skill becomes. In informative speeches, analogies simplify complex ideas by connecting them to something familiar. In persuasive speeches, analogies highlight similarities that support your claim and encourage the audience to view your position as reasonable. These reasoning methods give structure to your arguments and help your audience see not just what you are saying, but why it matters. Together, they guide you in building informative speeches that clearly teach new concepts, and persuasive speeches that convince audiences to act or take action. Logical fallacies. Even strong speakers can weaken their message if they rely on faulty logic. Logical fallacies are errors in reasoning that may initially sound convincing but fall apart under scrutiny. Avoiding them protects your credibility and strengthens your arguments. Here are some common fallacies with examples and how they apply to both informative and persuasive speeches. Ad hominem, attacking the person rather than the argument. An example is, you cannot trust her climate data because she drives an old car. In informative speeches, this distracts from facts and clarity. In persuasive speeches, it undermines ethos by targeting a person instead of evidence. Hasty generalization, drawing conclusions from limited data, such as 2 students said public speaking is scary, so everyone must hate it. In informative speeches, this spreads misinformation. In persuasive speeches, it weakens arguments by relying on stereotypes. Appeal to authority, relying only on authority figures. For instance, this celebrity recommends the product, so it must work. In informative speeches, this leaves out reliable data. In persuasive speeches, it replaces strong reasoning with celebrity influence. Slippery slope, predicting extreme outcomes. To illustrate, if we allow one late paper, students will stop meeting deadlines altogether. In informative speeches, it exaggerates cause and effect. In persuasive speeches, it uses fear rather than logic to sway audiences. False dilemma, presenting only 2 choices, like either we ban social media or productivity will collapse. In informative speeches, it limits the understanding of alternatives. In persuasive speeches, it pressures audiences into choosing between extremes. Straw man, misrepresenting an argument. For instance, if you support public transit, you must hate cars. In informative speeches, it confuses the audience about the real issue. In persuasive speeches, it unfairly dismisses opposing views. Circular reasoning, restating the claim as proof. Say, he is honest because he always tells the truth. In informative speeches, this fails to clarify concepts. In persuasive speeches, it provides no actual evidence and weakens logical appeals. Post hoc ergo propter hoc, assuming one event caused another, as in grades improved after the rally, so the rally caused it. In informative speeches, it misleads about the relationships between events. In persuasive speeches, it confuses correlation with causation. Genetic fallacy, judging an idea by its origin. For example, that idea came from another school, so it must be wrong. In informative speeches, it blocks fair analysis. In persuasive speeches, it rejects valid arguments for the wrong reasons. Begging the claim, assuming the conclusion. A sample could be, this rule is unfair because it should not exist. In informative speeches, it clouds the explanation. In persuasive speeches, it assumes agreement without proving the point. Ad populum, claiming truth because of popularity. To give an example, everyone uses this app, so it must be the best. In informative speeches, it distorts accuracy. In persuasive speeches, it appeals to crowd opinion instead of facts. Red herring, distracting from the issue. Consider, why discuss tuition costs when campus fashion is more interesting? In informative speeches, it distracts from the main topic. In persuasive speeches, it avoids the core issue and weakens the argument. Moral equivalence, comparing minor and major issues unfairly, namely, turning in homework late is as bad as cheating. In informative speeches, it exaggerates and misleads. In persuasive speeches, it unfairly equates small problems with serious offenses. Recognizing and avoiding fallacies makes you a more careful thinker and a more ethical communicator. In both informative and persuasive speeches, awareness of fallacies helps you maintain credibility, avoid misleading your audience, and present arguments that are both logical and fair. Citations and references. Citing sources correctly is essential in both academic and professional setting scrutiny. It shows respect for intellectual property, enhances credibility, and avoids plagiarism. Plagiarism can have serious consequences, including failing grades, loss of credibility with your audience, and disciplinary action at the college level. In my class, use the latest edition of either the American Psychological Association or APA or Modern Language Association or MLA style guide, as long as you remain consistent throughout your speech submission. Oral citations. In a speech, name the author, date, and type of source. According to Dr. Jane Smith, a 2022 article in the Journal of Education found, for a step-by-step guide, refer to our video, linked in Canvas, on our helpful videos for speech delivery/presentations page. In-text citations. On outlines, provide brief in-text citations in your outlines. Please review our Support for Creating Preparation Outlines page for help. Reference lists. Include all sources at the end of your outline in proper APA or MLA style. Remember to remain consistent. Please review our Support for Creating Preparation Outlines page for help. Consistency is important. Choose one citation style and use it across all parts of your speech preparation and submission. Academic integrity is central to your success at AVC. In our class, 60% of your speech grade is tied to research, including credible and appropriate sources and proper citations and references. Conclusion. Research and reasoning are the backbone of effective public speaking. Understanding supporting materials first will help you know what to search for, and locating credible sources will then provide the information you need. Evaluating evidence with care ensures accuracy, and reasoning methods connect your evidence to your claims. Avoiding logical fallacies keeps your argument strong, and citing sources ethically builds trust with your audience. By combining research, reasoning, and responsibility, you become a speaker whose words inspire confidence, respect, and action. Thank you so much for listening to this chapter of Fearless Public Speaking.